Welcome to this edition of News Leader. Today is Tuesday, January the 31st, 2023. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, a former Coffee County preacher goes to prison for child rape. WMSR is giving away Bonnaroo tickets, and Wagner Park is going to upgrade its lighting. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader.
Hi, my name is Ringo. Here at Barkview Senior Living, they're human-friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Barkview. Parkview Senior Living. For your dog's best friend, you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back. While Bonnaroo is still a little over 4 months away, organizers are suggesting potential festival goers to go ahead and purchase their tickets as General Admission Plus, Platinum, and some of the one-day premium tickets are past 75% of sales and expected to sell out soon. If you're getting tired of waiting to see if your cousin or friend is going to be able to get you in, you should probably at least sign up for Thunder Radio's Bonnaroo ticket giveaway. Thunder Radio, WMSR Radio in Manchester, is giving away 3 pairs of general admission tickets to the 2023 Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. All you have to do for a chance to win is head on over to thunder1320.com and click on the contest banner at the top of the page for full contest rules and entry form. You can also get a second entry by downloading the Manchester Go smartphone app and registering through the app. Contest ends on February the 10th. In addition to those 3 pairs of tickets, Thunder Radio is also giving away 3 camping passes, 1 to each winner. To win, you must live within the Thunder Radio listener area to be eligible for these prizes, and there can only be 1 winner per household. Former preacher in the Coffee County community has been sentenced to 25 years in prison for rape of a child. David Kidder, age 77, on Wednesday entered a guilty plea to a charge of rape of a child and was sentenced to 25 years in the Tennessee Department of Corrections to be served at 100%. He was taken into custody immediately. Should Kidder ever be released, unlikely considering his age, he will be the subject to the sexual offender registry restrictions as well as community supervision for the remainder of his life, according to Assistant District Attorney Jason Ponder. Charges were first brought against Kidder in 2021. We'll be right back with more News Leader after these messages.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. At last week's Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, Tullahoma Fire Chief Kenny Pearson gave the annual fire department report.
I'm honored to present this report. Yes, there is a lot of information in this report. I'm going to kind of briskly go through it because it is in our packets. Everybody's been able to look at it. Just some of the things that we've done over the year. Our mission is always to meet the needs of our community in fire protection, rescue, and assisting other emergency agencies when needed. Our vision changed a little bit from last year. We're striving to be the area's leading emergency service organization by bringing the most optimal service to the community through code implementation, public safety, and public education. We feel like these areas will help us continue to have less fire calls and hopefully save a lot more property. Our core values, of course, are when an emergency arises, we will respond with due regard to life safety and property conservation. We perform these duties with the utmost integrity and honor. Our staff, I couldn't do it without them. They're very important to our community. Our captains that are on each shift, that lead each shift. We have 23.5 square miles that we cover. These are, you can see where Fire Hall 1 is and Fire Hall 2 is. There's been a lot of talk about, the changes in the city, how things are going to change as we go along. And these are things we're always looking at. So whenever a new development comes in, we're looking to see if we're going to be able to cover that area with proficiency and trying to take care of those things. Station 1, of course, is at South Jackson. Station 2 is at Avoca. This is a lot of the equipment that our city has purchased for us, starting with the 1936 Dodge, which we restored, to all the new units that we have. These help us do our job. We do a lot of training. This is a little bit of a list of our training and what we require within the first 3 years, which is quite a bit. We try to build a relationship with the firefighter as they're onboarded and continue that relationship for the first 3 years so that they get those requirements that they need to work at other requirements for other jobs. Our run stats for 2022, as you can see with the heat density map over to the right-hand side, we pretty much cover the whole city. There's not really one area that just stands out, but we have a lot of calls in a lot of areas. As you notice, our one call, of course, is medical response. We do a lot of medical response. It has gotten better over the last year. Still not completely where we want it with Coffee County, but they're working on it, and hopefully that'll continue to change. And as you see, our year stats for the last 5 years, medicals have gone up every year. We did have a larger number of structure fires this past year. Doing some research, we feel like it was a lot to do with COVID. We had a lot of electrical fires that we weren't having before. People in their houses, stuck in there, they're doing some work on their house and then end up making some bad changes. So we've had a few of those. And we think that COVID is part of the reason why we had extra calls. We're hoping that number goes back down again this year. Our operations daily, we have public education activities, apparatus equipment maintenance, annual hose testing, annual fire hydrant inspections, pre-fire planning, maintain fire station grounds, fire and emergency medical training, rope rescue training, hazardous materials training, physical fitness. We are, as a department, we do a lot of different things that aren't just fire related. We have a lot of different responsibilities, from rope rescue to hazardous materials, emergency medical calls, and then also, of course, firefighting. 2021 highlights. 2030, we actually had 2,400 calls this past year. This is not matching. Yeah. We had 2,400 calls this past year. This is my last year's. Okay, I apologize. But most of this, so we had 2,400 calls this past year. We did 470 fire inspections this year. We're hoping to continue to increase that each year. We've had extra inspectors that have come online. We want to try to be able to hit every business within a year, which is, we got over 1,400 business licenses within the city of Tullahoma. So we're working to increase that till we're hitting every business within the city of Tullahoma, which will help as far as our ISO rating, things of that nature. They want to see every business being inspected at least once a year. We do a lot of high-risk familiarization throughout the city, your schools, your medical facilities, which we were at Friday. So our pre-plan of that building, the emergency response, was all helpful during that time. We do update the pre-fire plans every year. We had over 107 community risk reduction programs, 18,000 public education participants. That's taking the number of people. We might have seen people 5 or 6 times, but each time we did an event, we counted the people that we would have there. And that's how many people we've seen this past year. We have over 1,300 fire hydrants that we tested this year. We do it yearly. Over 15,000 foot of fire hose inspected and tested. And this year we did over 15,000 training hours. One of our biggest things is community involvement. We try to be out in the community as much as we possibly can. Seeing the kids, working through elementary school, preschools, moving all the way up to 5th grade. We're still working on trying to get into the high school a little bit more. We've got some talks with director. We're trying to get a fire science class within this high school and try to continue to improve the involvement within the fire department. In closing, I went through that pretty quickly, didn't I? It's hard to follow Jennifer and everybody else, but Tullahoma is dedicated to serving the residents, visitors, and community of Tullahoma. The future of Tullahoma Fire always lies in our employees. We are always working to build that future leader within our department. So that's what our goal is. When they first come in to our department, we're looking at building them into a new leader. We feel like everybody should lead and be able to lead, and they are the future of our department. So we got to instill what they need to know early. But thank y'all. Do you have any questions?
Chief President, I can tell you, I can speak for most of our citizens, all of our citizens in Tullahoma, and tell you that we are proud of and thankful for our Tullahoma Fire Department. And thank you for your leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No 2 visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
We tend to lose our motivation when we have something that's chronic, but you've got to do what you can early on as you can. After I'd exercise like that, I would have a lot of energy to do housework or whatever I needed. Well, I would recommend it highly to anyone at any degree of Parkinson.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Also at last week's Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, the board discussed replacing the lighting at Wagner Park with interim Parks and Rec Director Lyle Russell.
This Wagner Park project is one that was identified for use of our American Rescue Plan funds, and it's to upgrade really what's obsolete lighting at this time. We've had the lighting in place for a long time. Tullahoma Utilities maintains and helps make repairs to those lights. But I would say for the last couple of years, the staff at TUA has been warning me that the parts are becoming harder, if not impossible to find. We've had several lights kind of in a boneyard that we borrowed parts from, and those are now no longer available. And so really, American Rescue Plan funding is what kind of created the opportunity to upgrade these to LED and bring in new lights. And I guess with that, I'll turn over to Lyle to talk about kind of the purchasing,
Sure.
what you found.
Sure. What we're proposing is to replace all of the lights at Wagner Park for Wagner 1 and 2, which are Little League fields. It'll be for the Babe Ruth Field, which the middle school plays at, as well as our Adult Baseball League, and also the Frank Mullins Youth Football fields, which includes the tackle field, and there's an addendum on there that we can add on the flag field that's adjacent to it. I felt that the add-on for the flag field was important, especially in light of what just happened with, I think it was the Buffalo Bills player that had a heart attack on the field. We anticipate seeing a big increase in the amount of flag football players as opposed to tackle football players. I could be wrong on that, but we felt like that was a potentially good move to go ahead and plan forward for that to be able to help accommodate our youth football program. We think that this is going to be a very good project. I think when you see in the end, especially when you drive by that park now, there's just a sea of poles and lights. And I know that that's, part of what we've had because of the lighting system that was there. This reduces the number of that and changes the landscape considerably. It's going to be very visually appealing driving into Tullahoma on Highway 55 there. And we think it's going to be a really good project. I'd be happy to try and answer any questions or concerns you may have about it.
Got a motion and a second and a background question.
I do have, you can go ahead. I had some questions on it, and I am for this project. I just had some questions and concerns about other things that would need to be done on that, and I'm hoping that, and I'm sure you have taken them into account, but I saw on here that the city will be responsible. Well, first of all, I noticed that we're already getting about $250,000 out of reserves of the ARP funds. That it is, it's that much over budget already, and I was just worried about how much more it might cost if we have to supply the power to it. I know that on another lighting project we had to supply an electrical engineer and the transformer and everything to supply the power up to the disconnect. And it gets to be pretty expensive. So I'm hoping that you have accounted for that, because it does call that in here in the specs. Other than that, I think it's a good project. I did have a question about the on the Mullins Football League and the Football League lights. Do they use those for games? Do they play games at night, or do they have just practices at night?
They do. They've started playing games at night due to the increase in, I don't have the exact number of how much they went up this year, but they had a very large amount of new players sign up.
That's good. It's a good problem to have.
To the point where they've had to start playing night games just to accommodate everybody.
That's good.
And I believe Alderman Berry coached for them last year. He could probably answer that question as well as I could.
Yeah, that's this is a good project. I like going to the LEDs. That's also nice. I just would like to have a feeling for if you would, if anyone's reached out to TUA yet about the power and see what we might need to do as far as engineering that. Because I know Musco won't do that. They'll just do it from the disconnect on.
Right. We've met with TUA representatives at the field. We've walked the site to make sure that everything is there in place, and they're confident that everything we need is already there. Okay. It's just repositioning what's existing to be able to accommodate the layout that Musco set forth.
Okay. And then the last item I'd caution you on is the steel poles that are on Greenfield. Mm-hmm. Those are, we purchased those from TUA, mm-hmm. and then they were involved in a product recall. Okay. TUA is supposed to come out and inspect those periodically to make sure they continue to have structural integrity. I just want to caution you to make sure that we keep that up since we are retaining those poles.
Yes, thank you for letting me know that. So this is going to be a fantastic project that I think you'll see a tremendous difference there. And I was going to preempt, I know one of the questions that usually comes with this is about did we look locally for this? And just so happens that we do have a local contractor that Musco is working on contracting with, so it will stay here in this area. Contractor is actually local enough that they're in the room tonight. So on their behalf and on our behalf, thank you for the approval of that project.
Thank you for what you're doing.
We'll be right back with more news after these messages.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me at Life Care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches? Vaping. It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Welcome back. At the recent Mayor's Quarterly Report meeting, Tullahoma Tree Board Chair Ralph Graham addressed the gathering.
Good afternoon. I'm Ralph Graham, Chairman of the Tree Board, and I have several things to talk about. One is that we're planting trees. This month we'll plant 23 trees, most of them in the Arboretum, and memorial trees and honorary trees. Second thing is, at the Arboretum, we're replacing the kiosk which burned with a pavilion. It's a 12 by 12 pavilion, and we plan to have a celebration there at National Arbor Day the last Friday in April, and we'll have a big meeting there. People wonder, where is this Arboretum? And it's behind East Middle School, and we're going to try to remedy this confusion or lack of knowledge by putting in a sign that's big enough to read from the road. So you can say the Arboretum is this way, okay. So it's with the disc golf course, but many people say, I just can't find it. So that's where it is. And the third thing I want to talk about is we're going to have a planning meeting January the 31st. We're going to be here, and we're going to talk about how we can enhance the city canopy. We're losing trees here. You might have noticed old trees are dying. They're cut down for expansion. Wilson Avenue is going to widen. We're going to lose some trees. Due to the emerald ash borer, I did a survey of that. We have at least 50 ash trees on city property, and I might have missed a few. But it's going to be quite an expense for the city to take these trees down. I recommend not trying to save them because it requires an annual drenching of an insecticide that in the end we're going to lose. So it brings up the point of how do we maintain the canopy? We're losing these trees. Well, we need to plant more with it. So we're going to be working on that. And we invited the members of the Tullahoma Community Pride Organization and the new downtown committee to join us in saying, how can we make this city more attractive to new businesses and be business friendly at the same time. So we're going to be looking at these issues and maybe come up with a way to enhance the canopy by giving a credit to the people who can't put trees currently. Every 75 feet you have to put a perimeter, you have to put a tree down. But you got all parking lot. How are you going to do that? So we give you a credit for that.
And don't forget to tune in to this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. And stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker hordes.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 2002 at 74 degrees. The record low was in 1966 at -4 degrees. The average high for this day is 49, and the average low is 29. Rain and possible freezing rain for tonight with a low of 33. And that rain and freezing rain continues to Wednesday with a high of 42 and a low of 35. And the rain continues for Thursday with a high of 45 and a low of 28. And that's our News Leader Report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. for News Leader. Stay safe and have a great evening.